Hey everybody, welcome to Summer of Manga. This is our Saturday AM Roundtable show, and we are reviewing some of the pitches that you guys submitted to us. I believe this will be episode 4 of our show, and we got some really cool pitches to share with you guys today. So we have the wonderful Blake Showers with his series Four Strikes, which is on Saturday p.m. We have Pop Suli
Woo!
Fall. You did it. We have Pop Suli Fall with his series Oblivion Rouge on Saturday p.m.
Yeah!
Notice how intense his eyes are. You could tell he's serious for this episode. We have J.R. DeBard and his manga Underground, Boom Boom Boom, and Saturday PM. And last but not
I'm
least,
not
we
doing a
have
scream. Nope.
Monitor Comics with his series Change the World on Saturday afternoon. There we go. And then me, I'm just here. I do PR stuff and event stuff, and yeah, that's me. Um, So let's go ahead, and we got some cool stuff to mention with our graphic novels and just stuff that we have happening within our company. Specifically, the graphic novels, which are set to release starting next month in June. We have Apple Black, Hammer, Saigami, Oblivion Rouge, Massive Multiplayer World of Ghosts, Titan King, Yellow Stringer, and we have a How to Draw Diverse manga book. And then later this year, we're going to have Apple Black Volume 2 coming out, and the other one, which I believe was um, Hammer Volume 2, yes. And then I believe Saturday AM Annual is supposed to come out like October or November, but it'll like recap everything that happened this year. So it's going to be really cool stuff. We hope that you guys pre-order these books. If you do, you get limited time trading cards, and these things are exclusive. So one day they're going to be worth a lot of money, and yeah, people are going to be asking if you can sell them, but you just got to say no, they're my cards. And yep, that's what you got to do. You got to protect your stuff. Um, so we have that, and we also have some events going on right now around the country. We have Fred and White and a couple other people attending some like library events. I think we had one in Dallas, and then we're gonna have one maybe in New York and in California. So if you guys are in these areas, just stay tuned. We might be visiting an event near library near you or convention center wherever we end up going. But yeah, it's going to be really really cool stuff, and we hope that you guys are. We hope that you guys will buy the books, pre-order them, and yeah. But with that being said, I want to go ahead and just start going through these pitches with you guys. We've got some awesome stuff. The first one that we have, if I look up my handy dandy notes here, we have an artist from Ireland, and his name or their name is Ugly Artist underscore Jibs, which I think is a great name. I love that name. Um, and if we look at what his pitch is JoJo's Bizarre Adventure meets Kill la Kill meets Vogue Runways, so, which is really interesting. The story follows a main event of a prestigious fashion show where models and fighters from sectors of the city of fashion and style. The main event is a free for all combat between the remaining contestants and their abilities as they walk the runway. So that is his pitch and his story idea. Let's go ahead and go around the room. What do you guys think of this pitch and this artist? Jr. Let's start with you.
Sweet. Well, for one, I love JoJo's and Kill la Kill. So the elevator pitch kind of had right there.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's cool. The idea of having models as fighters and maybe having like I haven't seen artwork for it, but like having different fashion styles kind of like determine like the ways they fight. I think that's a cool idea. It really gets like the creative juices flowing. I'm really excited to see what the, the story looks like. I think it sounds really cool.
Yeah, yeah, I have to say the same thing. I mean, when they said Kill a Kill and JoJo and fashion, I'm just like thinking of like people with like these elegant dresses, like with these cannons, ready to like fire something. Or I'm just like picturing in my head maybe like a someone wearing like a chef's costume, and maybe his hat, spits out like pizzas and donuts and all of this crap and just kind of obliterates the competition. So I'm just like, this is a really cool idea. I like this. What do you think, Popsule?
Yo, coincidinky. Well, that's not how it goes. Coinkydinky. I'm watching Kill la Kill right now, and it's so hard. I love it.
Nice.
I've been putting it off for a minute, so I'm like all about this idea, and like if they can, I checked out some of the art, and I think that they could do it. I think they have the style to pull it off, and I just want to hope. I just hope that they maintain some of the hilarious stuff that goes down in both of these amazing shows, like that they're combining, and I hope that that follows through because it's a really cool idea. I like it.
Yeah, yeah. Now, their art right here on Instagram. If you scroll down, do they have any examples of sequential art, or is it just illustrations?
It's just illustrations. What it looks like.
Okay, okay. Well, um, do they have any other links? Any other kind of art links? Some of these artists end up having like portfolio websites. Well, doesn't look like that's their Twitch. Okay.
But
Yeah.
based on the work here, it seems like it's like the focus seems to be style. They got all the characters that they have shown here
Mm,
all have all different kinds of stuff on, from jewelry to like netting, uh, to like I don't know, all kinds of stuff. So I think this idea really fits their style, and
Yeah,
they
and the
can have a lot
concept
of fun.
itself lends itself to really good, cool character designs as well. So
Hmm.
concept alone is pretty smart choice.
nice.
Hmm.
Yep. Yep. I agree. They followed our format, which is great. The art was very clean. The story sounds very interesting. This pitch is really well done. Um, I would say the thing we probably like to see is examples of like your manga abilities. Like if we could see that on your Instagram, that'd be great. For you guys watching who are going to be submitting next year, try to put some sequential art on your Instagram page or your portfolio so we could see examples of what your work would look like. But yes, this is uh, ugly artist underscore jibs from Ireland. And let's go ahead
They
and
do they do have a little bit of sequential stuff actually.
oh, they do. Oh, they do. Where
They do a little bit, yeah.
It's like towards the bottom, I
Yeah, it's
think,
towards the
right?
bottom if you scroll
towards the
down.
bottom.
And in their application, I think they wrote that this is the first comic they're gonna ever work on. So that's like the only area of concern that I had.
Hmm.
Okay. Well, that is good to know. Let's check it out. They got a lot of stuff. It's good. It's always good. It's better to see a lot of artwork than hardly anything at all. Let me tell you. Okay, okay, I can see it. I can see it. Good stuff. Very cool. Definitely like to see more, but from that little preview image that we got, the artist is familiar with some toning, and they seem pretty decent at putting together comic panels. So good stuff. Good stuff. Alrighty. And that was the Ugly Artist Jibs from Ireland. And let's go ahead and move on to our next artist. They are underscore Samurai San, and they're from Germany. I think this is like one of our first pitches we've had in a while from Germany, huh, you guys? Hello.
Yeah,
For sure.
for sure. That's tight.
Yeah, yeah.
Who's gonna take on?
Oh, let's see here. Their pitch is One Piece meets Full Metal Alchemist, which sounds really interesting to me. It hooks me on right away because I know both series and I think both series are very good. But this is his pitch right here. Vincent, a teenager boy, aspires to find the treasure of a dead archaeologist alongside his friends. He's doing this for his father's honor. In the short story, he goes to visit his father, who's in a vegetative state, to inform him about his progress and what he's discovered so far pertaining to the treasure of this archaeologist. But then soon he's attacked by a sudden familiar enemy. Now, let me see here. Yeah, that was his pitch and his story idea. Let's go around. Blake, what do you think of this story and this pitch and the artwork?
I think that it could definitely go some good places. I feel like if they try to kind of like I know it's like picking two things that it relates to, but I think that it could be a really good story if it were less One Piece. And that's not me hating on the story or anything. It's just more like I can see this going like super far if it were more of its own thing.
Hmm.
And I think art style wise and art wise, like they get it, like they understand like blacks and gradients and things of that nature. So I think that putting the actual manga together, I think that that would be like super easy for them.
Hmm.
But I'm interested in seeing on how this would go for a 10-page type
Mm-hmm.
thing.
Gotcha. What about you, Michael? What do you think?
Yeah, kind of building off of that. I feel like there's a lot that could be done, and like One Piece and Full Metal Alchemist are both stories that like need that length to like tell their full story. So something like this, you would have to like focus on one very specific incident in like 10 pages, and I don't know if that would like fully convey the idea. So I personally probably wouldn't have picked those two big series.
Hmm.
The other thing I noticed while going through their page is that the series Artemis they've done before, where they've mentioned it at least like 90 weeks back. So they might be able to like pitch a different idea or like different interpretation of that same story, but
Mm,
I don't know if they plan on just resubmitting something or doing a reversion of it.
Hmm.
gotcha. So they've done something like this before in the past, right? Is that what you're saying?
That's what it looked like on their Instagram page. It was the same title, Artemis. I
Oh,
think in their Instagram highlights they mentioned it too a little bit.
okay, okay. Well, it sounds like this creator uh, um, is sticking with this idea. They'd like to see this idea as a full blown comic. But let me let me nicely offer my own comments to that. Now, this is the first time I'm seeing this artist. Do you think you could scroll down a little bit so we could I could see a little bit more of his art? Um, but when I initially read his pitch, um, I thought it was good at the very end, where like all of a sudden the monster is attacking. But I feel like the beginning is a little bit too boring. Like there's not a lot happening. It's just him kind of returning to his father, who's kind of just not really able to do anything. He's telling him about his adventures and the treasure and stuff. And if that is going to be the most of the comic, then it's not really going to be interesting to me. Like I want to see the character pursuing some sort of goal, fighting for some sort of goal. If that happens at the end of your comic, it's just kind of like you know like a cliffhanger, but then you just kind of drop me and leave me to hang. So I would say if you were going to rewrite this pitch, probably start around the part where your father is attacked, by the monster or whatever it is that is attacking you guys, and then kind of develop the story off of that. Maybe he's having to find the treasure, and he's in a desperate pursuit, and there's a monster behind him, and the monster's trying to get to his father, and maybe he's trying to prevent that from happening. That is more exciting. So I'd probably kind of frame it more like that, just to kind of catch our eye. But I think this artist's art is decent. It looks like they know how to draw comic panels. They know how to tone. So I would just say maybe continue developing your style a little bit. Because I do see a couple little like anatomy things going on, but you got some good stuff, and I feel like your story is decent. So that is
Wait, can I add one more thing to the
yes,
point you made about the pitch?
yes.
So I noticed this a lot with a lot of entries that I was reading that they keep it vague for some reason. Like the part at the end where it's like he's attacked by a sudden familiar enemy. I feel like that's fine if you're advertising it to an audience, but when like you're pitching it to a publisher, like you got to tell me what's going on. Like I don't know what that means. Like I'm not your fan. Like I'm just here to like review the work. So I feel like keeping us in the dark like that, I personally wasn't a fan of. And I feel like that last sentence
Okay.
is what the one shot is. Everything else before that's backstory. So
Mm,
like you were saying about reworking it, just something to keep in mind.
yeah, yeah.
Okay.
But were you gonna add something, Pop?
Yeah, to kind of jump off what you were saying also is that like it's I think the mashup is too close. Like I think One Piece and like Full Metal Alchemist are so close in terms of like popularity and also just like concept in terms of like the power structures and all that. So I think like kind of just I think best smashers are when you take something that's so completely far apart and then you kind of like put them together to create something new.
Hmm.
But those
Yeah.
are already close together that it kind of like it makes it hard to see something out of that for some reason.
Gotcha, gotcha. Well, let's hope that he can get one of our votes towards the end. I'm getting Google notifications. I don't want it right now. Let's go ahead and move on to our next artist. We have Faro Faro Dot Draws, and they're from Argentina. Now, I believe Faro Faro was in a previous March Art Madness event that we had. So we immediately recognized them, and we seriously consider their work because we're familiar. We know they're very talented, so they automatically gets a thumbs up in our book. But let's go ahead and read their pitch. It is, and I'm sorry, by the way, I think I've been forgetting to mention the names of these comics. The first comic that we did, where it was JoJo meets Kill la Kill meets Vogue Runways, that comic was titled Icons. This last comic that we did with One Piece meets Full Metal Alchemist, that was titled Artemis. And this comic is titled Don't Lose Your Head by Faro Faro Draws. So I'm going to go ahead and read the pitch here, and you guys can tell me what you think, and how the art looks. Let's see here. After half of the population was zombified by a virus and readapted to society again, being a zombie is just a normal part of life. Dealing with rotten flesh, jobs, and taxes, losing your own brain is a problem, just like losing your wallet or house keys. In this Dora Hedora like urban fantasy comedy, the story starts with Frisky, a skateboarder girl with nothing but money issues, and accidentally runs over a wandering, well dressed zombie who lost part of his head and his memories with it. She decides to help the dead man in exchange for a succulent monetary reward that this zombie supposedly has. As they go on a quest to find the missing brain in the huge, bizarre city, they gather clues and pieces, also body parts, of the dead man's past, while Frisky has her own self interested and stingy goals in mind. So, their short description is basically saying the exact same thing. Now, I will say, I'm not sure if they saw our format that we asked for, but for the pitch itself, we have a format where it's Series X meets Series X. So next time, just remember, pick two popular series that most people can recognize, and try to use those as your example. My suggestion, since this is kind of dealing with zombies and like adventure, maybe you'd want to categorize it as um, maybe like The Walking Dead meets Adventure Time. Something kind of like that would probably be a good suggestion. But yeah, let's go ahead. Looking at their art, um, very beautiful. They know how to color very well. What do you think, Jr., about Farafaro's story and their art?
I think the art looks cool. Again, I'm not seeing a lot of sequential stuff, so I don't know how it's going to look in comic format. But the concept is pretty unique.
Mm-hmm.
I think it. I'm excited to see that we could potentially have an interesting character dynamic between Frisky and this apparently very wealthy zombie. Um, the only other things that we didn't get like a shortened version of the pitch. It sounds like there's going to be like a lot of stuff that needs to be established within a short period of time, and that may be hard to do with the pages you have, and we could end up seeing this coming to some kind of cliffhanger, which is not what we're looking for with Summer of Manga. We want to see like the full story, but I'm still excited to see the character dynamics and kind of the wacky shenanigans that go on with such an interesting concept.
Yeah. No, I agree with you. Looking at their comic art that they have, they know how to set up comic panels, which is great. It looks like their comic would definitely be something visually attractive to look at, which is very exciting. Um, and I agree with you. Just because there could be a lot going on with them trying to find the mysteries and all of that. That part might be a little bit hard to condense within like 10, 15 pages, maybe even 20, depending on what we give them. But what do you think, Pop, about Farrafo draws?
Yeah, so yeah, looking through their drawings, I think that it could be possible that they could run into some issues in terms of condensing the story. But I think there's a short comic here they have, or it was just a cover. But I think, with something like that, with picking up pieces, I think if they're smart enough in terms of how they construct the panels, they could have a really interesting story in terms of like collecting. Each page can be a full spread of one collection, or like something like that. I think they could play with it and have a really good time, but they're gonna have to be pretty disciplined, and that's hard.
Yeah.
Especially when they like drawing like this, all these colors and all these like things going on. And I understand because I like doing that, so in my own work. So it takes a lot to be like, dang, I'm gonna have to lose that page, and you're gonna have to lose that page. You can't keep it. And I learned that honestly doing the working on the books, is that like reconstructing and removing pages and like combining pages, just to remove like little extra stuff that doesn't necessarily have to be there. So that's something to think about.
Yeah. Yeah, their story is strong. I like it. I think it's a good story. I think it's funny, it's cute, and their artwork is very attractive. So I would say this is also a very good pitch. But yes, this is Farah Draws from Argentina. Now let's go ahead and move on to the next artist, Kaito underscore Bakuchi from France. Their pitch is Spider-Man meets Ant-Man. And this is the description of their story. We have, let's see here, Ingo Aguilar, a young Filipino boy living in Paris, is injected with an unknown product by a stranger he met in the streets. As a result, his genetics were changed, and now he has the power of a fire ant. Curious about his new abilities, he decides to investigate an organization called Superorganism, which by chance has a strange link with this mysterious product that gave him his fire ant abilities. So that is his pitch. His comic is called Solenopsis, the Fierceful Fire Ant. Now I will say, I'm not sure this artist's first language is English, which is okay. But I think his title is meant to say the fierce fire ant. Um, but let's go ahead and go around the room and get your guys' opinion of his one shot pitch and his art. What do you think, Michael?
I honestly really like this one. So I think the pitch definitely needs to change. Spider-Man meets Ant-Man. Those are both just Marvel series. So I think that just is like the same situation with the Full Metal Alchemist and the One Piece one, where it's just too similar. In the pitch, I feel like it also needs another gimmick. It's just some kid getting a superpower. So I think that's cool. Like I feel like those could be taken in like different directions. So that's why I like the idea. Because fire hands haven't been done before and they're pretty dangerous. But
That's true.
there's also the I feel like it's like really interesting that this artist is 18 because like looking at their artwork, I feel like it's like one of the highest level that we've seen so far. So I feel like they have a lot of room to grow. And the only thing with the title is I know that the Miraculous Ladybug is really popular in France right now. It's a superhero series. So I don't know if the title would be too similar to that if it's also set in France. Just something to keep in mind. But I feel like with a little bit of editing and like directing that this could be a really solid entry.
Nice, nice. Yeah, and let's get Blake's opinion. What do you think, Blake? Could we also see a little bit more of their art?
Um, yeah, I agree with what Michael was saying, especially with the miraculous ladybug thing, because like I see this pitch working really well, but I think just name things could be changed, and I think that it's something I could definitely see this being made and being really successful, just because it's like Michael said, I have never seen a Fire Ant character or any superhero based off of Fire Ant, and I think art wise as well, like they are very like they get the angles, they understand like anatomy. I would like to see like how they would attack something sequential,
Yep.
but other than that, I think that this could be really good if there was just like maybe another pass at it.
Hmm.
And I understand like some things just don't translate from English to other languages, so
Hmm.
that might also have to be a conversation had, and it might take a little bit more research as well. But I think that this would definitely do good, just a little bit more tweaking.
Yeah, yeah. I will say it looks like they have a lot of sketches on their Instagram. Would definitely like to see more finished art, but sketches are good to see. You know, it shows your passion, it shows your interest in getting better at art, so which is always a good thing to see. Now, I will say, um, with the pitch, um, for me, the area that I think could have probably made me even more interested because I like this pitch a lot. I like the idea of him getting these fire ant powers and kind of investigating this organization. I really like that. However, I think what could have made it even better is focusing your pitch around the conflict, the action. So instead of focusing more on him getting these powers and discovering them and playing around with them and then finally looking at this organization like, oh, I'm gonna see what they're up to. Start it instead with like a brief synopsis like, oh, I just gained these super ant powers, I've discovered this organization, now I'm gonna break in. And that's where your comic starts. So you have maybe the ant-man
Yeah,
breaking in, busting these guys who are making the serum, and maybe at the end of your comic there's some sort of twist where you discover, oh, maybe the guy who's responsible for the serum is my father. That's like the hook, that's the twist, that's the fun part. And if you had that more as where you're focusing your pitch, as opposed to the beginning of the story, I think that probably would have been more exciting. But that's just my opinion. I think the pitch is good. I think the artwork is also very good. I feel like this is going to be a tough vote because we've got some great entries in this batch. So let's go ahead and move on to our next artist, who is actually our last artist that we're going to be considering here. Um, they're called the E Void, and they are from the United States, and their comic is called Shattered. And this is their plot and their story description. After Jazria Phoenix's twin daughters, Misa and Issa, have caused unmeasurable amounts of chaos throughout the primary universe for their own personal gain, Jazra decides to teach her children a well deserved lesson on why they shouldn't be making a mess of the multiverse and the consequences that come with doing just that. Now I'm gonna read their store description. It is a bit long, so try to condense it down a little bit for us. But I'll try to read most of it for you guys here. Um, After Jazria is informed by her husband that her twin daughters have been messing with the multiverse and leaving holes in between universes as they travel through them without her permission, Jazra decides upon herself to take them on a journey through the multiverse in order to punish the two sisters. But what the sisters think is going to be a fun journey with their mother turns out to be a rough and dangerous one, showing them the dangers of tampering with the multiverse. While on their journey, Jazria successfully teaches them all the rules and regulations of the universe, as well as sternly informing the twins not to tamper with the multiverse in any way, shape, or form, as there could be severe consequences to not just their primary universe, but to all those that follow. Um, so it goes on a little bit more talking about the end of their journey, and even mentioning maybe a villain at the end of the comic. But I would say I like this pitch. I think it's interesting. I like the idea of them messing around with things that they shouldn't be, and them kind of learning that lesson through that. I do think that their pitch could have been a little bit, um, summarized a little bit better, because it is a bit long. But I will say, what does their artwork look like for the Evoid?
It's just all private.
It's private, really, huh? Because I know the last time I checked when I was going through these, the Evoid's account was not private, so we got to see some of their art. So for you guys watching, this is kind of a big issue. When we're going through your pitches and we're trying to take you seriously, with everything that you're presenting to us, when you put your account as private, that just kind of like blocks us from accessing your work, and we can't see all of the beautiful artwork that you created. So which puts us in a difficult position. We might not be able to vote for you because you decided to private your account. Um, but I will say, from what I remember, the Evoid's art was good. I liked their stuff, and I think they're very talented. And I hope that they unprivate their Instagram. So if you guys watching want to check out their art, you guys can. But um, they're from the United States. Their comic again is Shattered. Let's go ahead and who did I not pick on yet? Raymond and Pop. Is it your guys' turn?
Yeah, I think it's us too.
Okay,
I guess I'll start.
sure. Yeah.
Take it away.
Yeah, it's interesting to have, I guess, a mother and the kids, a story revolving around them. The issue I have, I guess, is that there's a lot to establish. I don't know exactly how the multiverse works in this story. Does it differ from what we see in like the Marvel universe, or is it its own kind of thing? Again, as Monder said when he was reviewing a pitch earlier, a lot of the stuff is vague. So I don't know exactly what shenanigans the kids are getting into. And again, that's kind of a problem when you're pitching the story to people who aren't your fans. I don't know what is going to be happening here. And that's kind of an issue, especially when we're doing when summer manga's it's short stories. I don't understand how this could be a short story when you have to establish the multiverse, the rules of the multiverse, how these kids traverse the multiverse, and what shenanigans they get into, and then how the mother fixes all that. Um,
Wow.
that's the problem for me. So I can see where there would be some interest, but for me, this is kind of one of the weaker entries.
Gotcha.
As well, again, I would like to actually see some art.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
it is kind of a big problem for me that I can't view anything because
Yeah.
the account is private. Even if you have like a separate account for art, and then your own personal account that you have private, that would be helpful.
Right, right. And I liked what you said, transverse the multiverse. I think that's like an excellent rhyme. I could just kind of see someone just like in Portal, like they go through these portals. Oh yeah, Blake, do that thing again. So like I'm going through Portal, right? Portal after Portal. Blake, do the thing. Do the thing. Blake, your mic is muted. Oh man. Oh, he's not gonna do it. I don't think he's gonna do it. Oh man. Uh okay. Well, he had
It's
this.
all good. I'll do it. I'll do it.
Okay, go for it, Pop. Save me.
Wait, sorry, but Microsoft. Ah!
Blake
I
showers
tried to step
everyone.
in, man. I
Thank
just
you,
look
Pop.
great.
Pop, you could do it too. Since you offered, go ahead.
That gave me a headache. I don't know if I can do that again.
I think he just did. He just did. He's fine.
You guys,
Oh, man.
you guys are fun. You just left me in the dust, but it's okay. Um, let's go ahead and let's get Pop's opinion on this artist and their pitch.
Yeah, so I kind of am gonna say something really similar. I just think that the idea, I like the idea. I think I like meddling. I like when there's like an idea that something is meddling with something that they're not supposed to, because it leaves room for a lot of imagination and all this stuff. But it does feel like I think Fred wrote here that it's too vague and it's too much of a, like a backstory. Like we don't really know what's going to happen in this world, so it makes it seem like it can go on endlessly. But I do like the idea, and I do think that in terms of a pitch, it is the least um, understandable. You know what I mean? So
Yeah,
that's how I feel about it.
yeah. I mean, I
And I
understand.
don't see the art,
Oh, go
so
ahead.
that doesn't help either. I don't see the art. I don't see, since the account is private, it makes it even more difficult to understand.
Yeah, and I figure the artist probably found out about the show that we're doing. We're reviewing the pitches, and they must have thought, oh, they might review mine, so I'm just gonna private my account because I don't want anyone looking at my art. I'm assuming that's what happened. Can't say for sure. Maybe they just decided to private just to private, but it is a problem for us trying to give you an honest critique of your work that you submitted to us. So let's hope that the evoid gets our vote. But let's go ahead and announce two artists that will officially be joining Saturday AM. They have been chosen by Fred himself. So let me go ahead and pull that up for you guys so you can see what I'm talking about. Now, our first artist that we are passing through to the next step of the process is Tappy Wastikota underscore art. I can't believe I said that. Their comic that they pitched to us is Ghost Slayer Rex. And the artwork that we chose right here, it looks very beautiful. So let me go ahead and read what they submitted so you guys have an understanding of why we chose this pitch. Um, they are actually from North Cyprus, which is very cool. And their comic is Frankenstein meets Kill Bill. We have a lot of Kill Bill uh, submissions, I feel like. But let's see. Random people who are brought back to life are called ghosts. Ghosts have supernatural powers. A recently resurrected young man must hunt down a powerful ghost who stole his soul before his body falls apart. So there in their pitch, there's an element of time here. So this character who's brought back to life, his body's falling apart, and he has to hunt down the ghost who 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 stole his soul. So I think that alone is eye catching. I like the premise of him having to find this before runs out of time. I also really like the art. If you look on their Instagram, they have a very stylized art. You can see that they've been doing comics for a while. So we were very impressed with this artist, and that's why we chose him. So congratulations to Tapiwa Dakota underscore art. Good job for getting in.
Woo!
Yeah, yeah. I love the enthusiasm. You guys,
Bro,
give him a round of applause.
Let's go, yes, sir.
There we go.
get it, get it,
I
get
love
it.
that.
Rock on, man.
What do you guys
What is
think
it
of
called?
his pitch and his art? Tell me.
Um, I think the best, well, not the best, but I think one of the greatest parts is having a time limit, because time limits can make stuff so much easier. Like, you don't have to drag the story along. Like, you have this amount of time to do what you have to do, and it's perfect because it makes sure that you don't have to like keep writing plot hole after plot hole after plot hole. Like, it's like, nope, in an hour this happens, or he dies, or in a couple days, couple months. Like, you have that precedent, so you don't have to write yourself into like a hole, or like keep doing chapter after chapter after chapter. Like, it's sweet, straight to the point, and it's detrimental to the character. So it's like, yeah, this is like his life, so it has to get done within this time. So I think that this is going to be really great, and like artwork great. Just just the synopsis alone, I was like, I see it. I know it's going to like flow good. Like, I think this is going to be just a really great series.
Awesome. What do you think, Michael?
Yeah, I agree with everything Blake just said. I really like it. The aesthetic here is really interesting. It like the whole story synopsis and the artwork kind of reminds me of like video games, and I feel like I would play that video game. So I feel like this artist has everything they need to do to make this a great one shot.
Yeah, and I will say, I think I remember this artist reaching out to me privately, just asking what our requirements are for Summer of Manga and all that. So, good on him for, trying to find out as much information as he can about this competition, because it clearly helped him, form a good pitch and get his stuff prepared for us to look at. So, good on him. But congratulations to him for making it through Summer of Manga. I will go ahead and announce our final person who's officially going on into Summer of Manga. Now, the five people that we discussed, we're gonna deliberate between ourselves and vote who the top two people should be to continue. But this is the person that Fred picked to go on. There are young. They're called the Young Wavy underscore the artist, and their comic is
Oh,
Guardian Reborn. Um,
uh-oh.
give him a round of
Mm.
applause as well. Good job, Young Wavy.
Oh, young lady, let's go, young lady.
Very good. Now I know Young Wavy. You guys might be familiar with this artist, but he has participated in March Art Madness before, along with like some of our DIY competitions, I believe. Draw this in your style, and he's very talented. He has a great use of coloring, and I believe his most recent work has been very impressive. So great on you, Young Wavy, for getting in. Let's go ahead and read his story here. It's Bleach meets Castlevania. In a supernatural world where 90% of humanity is enslaved by fallen angels known as the Fallen Ones, a guardian angel was sent to Earth to restore balance and maintain peace, but was killed. Then, 200 years later, reincarnated in the form of a young boy named Baron. Because of this, he doesn't remember his purpose or where he came from, but to protect the small village he grew up in from a fallen angel seeking him, Baron is forced to remember who he truly is. So this is interesting. I feel like this is a part of a longer series, maybe that the artist has in mind. Um, but I like the element of him just kind of needing to figure out who he is, and I like the element of there's a villain in the background, there's someone someone who's trying to find him. So I think this pitch is interesting. I do think it could be tweaked a little bit to make it sound more interesting. Um, because it is just a little bit lackluster, but I think it's decent enough for us to seriously consider, which is great. How about you guys? What are you guys' thoughts on this artist and their pitch?
I kind of wasn't getting Bleach vibes. I was getting like Devilman Crybaby vibes, but I do really like the idea of the Fallen Angels, and I feel like that'd be a really cool like idea to see in his art style, because this guy's an amazing artist. If any of you've seen his stuff.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I agree. I do think like it's one of those pitches where it's like the story is open enough that you can kind of get something out of it. But I do agree with you that it needs to be focused a little bit more.
Mm-hmm.
But I do think because of his art style, he'll be able to really hone in on
Yep.
and pull in all those ideas visually. So, what he's lacking in sort of the construction of the story, he's going to make up with, the stylizing and he's been working so hard. I've been following this dude on Instagram, man. He's going in like all the time, like from new paneling to like, making videos about it. So I respect the hustle. So yeah, definitely well earned.
Good stuff. Good stuff.
Yeah,
What do you think? I was gonna call on you, Jr. Good job. Read my mind.
I was gonna say I can see a short story version of this where like Baron like finally realizes who he is. It leaves room where it can continue, but it's also self-condensed in a way that I think it could fit in Summer of Manga. Obviously, his art is really strong. We know he can work sequentially. We know he's got strong color work when he needs it. So overall, like super excited to see what comes of this. Yeah.
Awesome. Awesome. And that is Young Wavy, the artist from the United States. These two artists will continue on with our Summer of Manga. I want to say for you guys just to hold tight for a little bit. We'll contact you with instructions on what to do next. You'll probably be assigned an editor who will help you develop your comic a little bit and make sure all the deadlines are met. I believe Fred was saying that we're going to be debuting all of these Summer of Manga stories in August. So you guys have some time to make like a 10-page, 15-page comic. But let's go ahead and vote for who we think should join these two. We have Ugly Artist underscore Jibs. We have Samurai San, Farafaro Draws, Kaido Bakuchi, and the Evoid. So let's go ahead and start with Ugly Artist Jibs with their comic called Icons. Now, I will go ahead and say that Ugly Artist Jibs gets my first place vote. I think that the idea of their story sounds so fun, and you could do so many creative things with it. I also think that their art style is very good. It's unique, and I think their comic would be really fun to read. So it is getting my first place vote. Um, but what do you guys think? I will go around the room. Blake, does Ugly Artist Jibs get your first or second place vote, or neither?
It's really tough because my first choice, I love the story and love the art, and like same with this artist, like I love the art and I love the story, but it doesn't get my first place. I'm sorry.
You're good. You're good. It's a matter of opinion. So, if your vote ends
Okay.
up being the one that's different from everyone else, we're gonna have to woo you, just like Fred did. Someone's gonna have to woo you. It's not gonna be me, but we're gonna be doing that. Okay.
I understand.
All All right. What about you, Jr? Does this artist get your first or your second place vote?
Yeah, I immediately disagree with Blake. He gets my first vote.
It's your vote.
Oh, no! It's set up now.
I just think the concept is super strong, man. Like there's so much potential for like cool character designs, cool fight scenes. Really the only thing I'm waiting for is execution. Seeing the work in sequence. Apart from that, I like my mind is racing this. Like just I imagine all this cool stuff happening. It's a simple pitch, like got like this little cool tournament thing, and I love fights, so
Mhm. That's-
I'm super stoked to see this.
yeah, yeah. I agree. Pop, what do you think?
Yep. Number one.
Number one.
I gotta say it.
Blake's in trouble.
No, I don't want to get booed. No, no.
Uh-oh.
I don't have enough emotions to show on my face yet, but I'm distraught.
Uh-oh. I think those deadly fire ants are coming for you. Careful. All right. Let's go ahead and get Monitor's vote. Does Ugly Artist Jibs get your first or your second place?
They do not. I'm with you, Blake. So
Okay.
where I'm at with this
We have a
is
first
I think the artist is super talented. I really love the idea and I love this like artwork and the design. What stops me from picking this is they haven't done a comic before and we didn't see any examples of sequential pages. And so like with this competition where I'm at is why haven't you done something before if you're entering this? So that's just the only thing stopping me from this. So it's not getting any of my votes.
Okay. Okay. Well, that is fair. That is fair. Let's go ahead and move on to the next artist. Then we have underscore Samurai San underscore with their comic. With their comic Artemis. Now, let's pick on Blake again. Blake, does this comic Artemis get your first or second place vote?
It gets neither. I'm sorry.
Okay.
I think that if it was just fleshed out a bit more, and yeah, I think it was really just like having the story fleshed out a bit more and just made its own thing. Like that's the main takeaway I would like give to this artist.
Okay. All right. JR, what about you? Does this artist Samurai San get your second place vote?
It does not, unfortunately. I think the artwork's really cool. And it was tough for me. The only thing I'd really say is that it's again, a lot of backstory. And then the sudden enemy appears. And it's just too vague. There's not a lot for me to hold on to and say yes. So it really close for me because again the art is just that good.
Yeah, I agree with you. I will not be giving this artist my second place vote for the same reasons. I think their art is decent. I do see some areas where it could be improved. But for the most part, it was the story. I feel like if the story was reworded, it would have been much more attractive to read. However, this artist does have a lot of talent. Maybe next time they pitch us something, we'll pass them through. But okay, let's see if this artist can get any more votes. Pop, does this artist get your second place?
No, they do not.
Okay. All right. You wanna explain if you have anything to add, or is it just the same as everyone else?
I just think it's weak. The combination of One Piece and Full Alchemist is just like that turned me off. I just wasn't. I just think that that's not enough. Like I'm not getting any of your own ideas in that. So, yeah.
Okay. Okay. What about you, Michael?
Yeah, I'm with Pop. I feel like there's like too much inspiration here and not much original ideas into this. And the other part that's like deferring me is I did see this in their Instagram profile, like I think 90 weeks ago that they were talking about this. And if they were talking about it 90 weeks ago, why is there no chapters out? And I think recently they posted they were working on chapter 0. So like I don't know how they're gonna do it with a short story if they've been working on this for so long and there isn't anything to show for it.
Gotcha,
Real.
gotcha. And I want to say thank you for reminding me, but Fred also left his opinions for these artists. The comic that we had before, Ugly Artist Yibs, Fred was saying, um, I'm giving this a go. Bottom line, this was the best pitch and best original concept I've seen this year. Ugly Gibbs is also a very interesting artist, and while I am concerned at the lack of comics sequential art experience, I still think his talent, coupled with the strength and originality of the concept, makes this worth seeing. Not in love with the name, though. So that is Fred's vote. Fred is giving his uh his thoughts on this artist. They're giving them a go. Now for the next artist that we're talking about right now, Samurai San Artemis. This is what Fred said about this artist. Let me see here. I am giving this a pass. Unfortunately, I see zero connection to the Full Metal Alchemist part. This strikes me as a long story with a short story just to get us to publish it. In other words, there is nothing here that I feel like is interesting, original, and thus unique. Ultimately, this artist has real potential and talent, but the lack of sequential art, some stiff artwork, lack of unique character designs, and then the concept not grabbing me and not offering anything unique. I'm the publisher, so explain to me quickly what makes this sequence unique and when he goes about getting the treasure. If you can't, then you're assuming that I'll learn about it after we publish it, and that's the wrong attitude to have. So, this is why I am passing on this. So, that is Fred's thought on this artist, Samurai Sun Artemis. Now, I believe who did I not get votes for this artist? You could raise your hand if you want. Did I get everyone's vote? All right.
I believe so.
Okay. All right, no problem. You just go ahead and write this down. But let's go ahead and look at the next artist we have here. Um, we have Pharaoh Draws with their comic "Don't Lose Your Head." Now, thinking about this is kind of a hard one for me because I really liked this comic, and then I really liked another comic as well. So I'm gonna cheat a little bit. I'm gonna get your guys' votes first. Um, so let's start with Pop. Pop, does this get your second place vote?
Hmm. I really like the idea, the concept, the stories. It seems like it'd be kind of fun to do that. Um. Hmm. I'd say they get my. I think their art is really original. I think they got like their own kind of style going on, and I would love to see that come through in like a zombie form.
Mm-hmm.
The problem is that there isn't any kind of like sequential stuff going on their Instagram.
They
Doesn't
did
look like
8
they.
chapters though of their own webcomic.
Oh, they're on webcomic. Oh, okay, cool then. Whoa, well, I think they will get my second vote actually.
Okay.
Yeah, they get my second. Yeah.
Okay, Faro.
Yeah.
All right. What about you, Blake? Does a Faro get your second place vote or your first place vote?
This one is my first.
Okay. So why
I
did
think it was
why'd
the
you
mention.
pick this one?
I think it was the mention of Doro Hidoru, which is a very like it's a very kooky story. It's a very kooky world, but I think that this story that they are trying to tell. Like I think that it kind of like they get it, like they get the elements of Dorohedoro and how stuff can be kooky and weird, but you can still tell a good story. And I think that like I can see where it's going. Like, oh, this guy's going to give you a lot of money, but he has no memory, and it's like, this could go like a whole bunch of places because it's like, what if he has no money? What if he has too much money? What like it's so many options where I like this weird juxtaposition of like, hey, I just want money, and then it goes to like this super weird world where like mostly everyone's a zombie. I think that works well. And then seeing the webcomic work, I think that they understand like how to make a webcomic. So I think
Okay.
that was just solidifying why I wanted them to get the first place.
Okay. All right. What about you, Michael? Does Faro Faro get your first or second place or neither?
Yeah, I get to my first. Blake was spitting right there. So I feel like out of everyone, this artist had the most experience actually making comics. Like they made 8 episodes of their own, and that enough was like, okay, you're miles ahead from me because you actually did it.
Hmm.
I also think the artwork is very good, and like I like their entries in like March Art Madness, so they've been around. They know the brand, they know like what they're doing. So I have faith in them that they'll make a good one shot.
That is fair. That is fair. They do have a lot of experience with comic art, and it's very good. So let's get JR's vote. Does this artist get your second place vote, JR?
Yeah, pretty handily. Especially after seeing the actual short comic that they did before, getting to see that they have experience working sequentially. And then the pitch itself was pretty strong. I like the take on zombies. I like the potential for a fun character dynamic. I think that overall it will be a really fun story to see.
Cool. Cool. Well, after hearing what you guys had to say, it was really hard for me because I really liked the story with the Ant Man and the Spider Man. I liked that one a lot. Um, but knowing that Faro Faro Draws has experience with comics, their artwork is a bit more polished. I'm gonna go ahead and give them my second place vote as well. Uh, for Faro Faro. Let's see what Fred had to say about Faro Faro. Um, Fred says, I'm giving this a go. This was tough. On one hand, this is a very original concept. Not totally, as this does bleed Dorohedoro and Die Dark, weirdness for weirdness sake. Disappointed that this pitch wasn't in. Uh, period. I'm guessing he says, I'm disappointed that this pitch wasn't in the right format that we were looking for. English may not be the creator's first language, but there's an awful lot of backstory here as opposed to having confidence in a unique plot. This this has a unique setup, but not necessary plot. That said, this artist did have an impressive comic pages and makes me more confident in their ability to render this story than the other creators that I passed on. So it sounds like Fred's thoughts were pretty similar to ours here. Um, so that's awesome. Second place for Faro Faro for Fred. Let's go ahead and move on. I think we have one or two more artists here to consider. We have Kaito underscore Bakuchi, and their comic is Solenopsis, the Fierceful Fire Ant. What say you, Mr. Pop? Does this get your second place vote? Or oh, actually, you already made your second place vote. Okay, I am missing Blake and Monitor for their second place. So Blake, does Kaito underscore Bakuchi get your second place vote?
Yep, they get my second place. I just feel like the language barrier thing is kind of hard, so like I don't want to be like, oh no, this sucks just because like some words don't translate through different languages. And like I see the potential and I think that it could do really good. So I think like with another pass, like this could be a great one shot. So that's why they got my second vote. And I like ants.
Yes, ants on your pants. All right. Monitor, or sorry, Michael, does this get your second place vote?
It does. Blake was spitting once again. I feel
Mind
like,
links.
yeah, when I'm like looking at these entries, I'm looking for potential. So like, even with the last one, even if the pitch isn't perfect, they can always go back and fix that when they're working with the editor. So like, I see potential with this artist, and they're only 18. I think they're super talented. I like the idea of the superhero. I think they do need a new gimmick or like something that makes it a little bit different than other superhero stories. But I feel like they could work on that when they're working with an editor if they move forward. So I'm willing to like take a chance on them.
Awesome. Okay. Okay. Well, it looks like we're a little bit mixed with our votes here, but for the most part,
Oh.
we have we have one, two, three, four votes for Ugly Artist Yibs. We have one, two, three, four, five, six votes for Farrow Arts, and we have two votes for Kaido underscore Bakuchi. So just based on that, it sounds like the two comics we most really want to see is Ugly Artist Yibs and Faro Draws. So congrats to you guys for making it in for our votes.
Woo!
Let's go. Let's go.
Yeah, yeah. Now the last artist that we have here, since we already kind of gave our votes, let's just kind of go around the room and explain why we did not give the Evoid our vote, so that this artist knows maybe what to work on for the next time. What do you guys think? I'll pick on Michael first.
Yeah, I like snap my neck because that artwork's so good. This needs to be public. Like, come on, man.
Yeah.
I feel like that might have swayed the like decisions a little bit if I was able to see the artwork. So yeah, I think in the future, just like make a separate art account if you don't want to be mixed with your personal account. But yeah, other than that,
Okay.
hopefully submit again.
Okay. What about you, Pop? Why didn't this one get your vote?
I have to say it's the same reason because I think if I do like the idea of the story, I think if there was a little bit of art to convince me a little bit more, and maybe like I think it's always good to like even if you do like a 3-page comic, 2 pages, like some sequential stuff to just show us that you're able to tell a story. I even challenge y'all to just do it without even having writing, just images. It could just be like a horse walking down the street and get hit by a car or something like that. Not that I want that to happen to a horse. I'm sorry.
No.
But anything, that was just off the dome type situation. But anything, I think anything helps.
Okay. Jr. What did you think about this artist? How come they didn't quite get your first or second place vote?
Well, the thing I went into this looking for mostly was strong concept. I think this is where me and Monder kind of differ a little bit because I was not looking as much for strong art in this case. Coming from pitching myself, I made the mistake of doing what this artist did, pitching a whole lot of backstory and not a lot of concept. And Fred kicked my butt because of it. So going into this, that was what I was looking out for. I wanted to see strong concepts that could be executed in an interesting way. There's a lot of backstory here, but I don't know what's going on.
Okay, so before I go to Blake, what are your guys' suggestion for this artist? How they could rephrase their pitch to make it sound better? You guys have any suggestions for them?
I think they could make it episodic, like a one-shot story. Like I feel like that's the point of the competition. So like maybe the parent and the daughters pop into one multiverse or something and just do something there for like 10 pages and then it's over, instead of having like all this exposition and like where it could go.
I think it could be consolidated in one room. I think that will help it be like it could be like a cleaning of the house, cleaning of your bedroom, and like the challenge is to finish it by the end of the story, and like then there can be like the house can become the multiverse, and that's already crazy. Like the house is already kind of a multiverse. You don't know what's going on in your
Yeah,
walls. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah,
so I think there's ways to like that's fun. There's ways to like make it smaller.
yeah.
In thinking about space. So
Yeah, I
That's a
just
good,
wanted to add on
good
that
idea.
I feel like I don't know like what the genre this would be. So like if it's being a gag story like bo 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 bo, then I feel like the power scaling isn't that much to think about. Where like these are like gods. But I know in this pitch at the very end there was like a villain that defeated one of these gods. So I don't know how that power is going to work if this ended up becoming a thing.
Yeah.
could be dad.
Uh, but
Mm.
but yeah, just to piggyback off of what Pop said, I think that's a great idea actually. Maybe the kids wrecked the house and they have this ability to go through the multiverse. So maybe their parents are on their way home and they quickly have to get everything sorted and bounce through each room with portals or something. I think that would be kind of a fun comic to read. But yeah, excellent suggestions, you guys. Blake, let's go to you. Why didn't this artist get your second or first place vote?
I think just like a lot of people were saying, I just couldn't see the art. So it was like the story I could kind of feel where they were going with it. And it is hard trying to tell a story within 10 pages. Like I've tried it and I'm like, dude, this is so hard. And especially when you want to tell like something super cool and have like all these elements, like it's hard trying to narrow that down. So
Mm,
like for really all the artists or any artists that didn't make it or that are wanting to try it again next year, like it's hard. So like don't feel bad if you don't make it because it's like 10 pages, like trying to make sure something is good in 10 pages is hard, but it's doable. And I think with not having like the story being so much lore heavy and also me not being able to see the art, I think that affected the reason why I didn't pick it.
gotcha, gotcha. I would say the same thing. This particular pitch did not get my vote, um, not because they just suddenly decided to make their account private. I do remember their art was good, but I would say the pitch was a little bit too much for me. I did like the idea of the daughters being in trouble, and the mom wanting to teach them a lesson. I like that a lot, and I like the multiverse. But I would say, you know, just to work on the pitch a little bit more. Artwork is fantastic. I think this artist is probably one of the strongest ones we have in the group. Honestly, but yeah, maybe next time they decide to, join Summer of Manga, we could see something a little bit different. But yes, these are the artists that are going forward. We have Ugly Artist Jibs and Farah Draws. Now for Kaito underscore Bakuchi, for the Evoid, and for underscore Samurai San underscore. It's not over for you guys. You guys will have a chance to still participate in Summer of Manga through a fan vote survey. So there's going to be other artists competing with you that did not get selected as well, and we're going to let our fans vote for their favorite pitch and their favorite artwork, and whoever is selected in that group will join Summer of Manga. So you guys keep a lookout for that fan vote survey. But other than that, this was really fun. Thank you guys so much for being here. Do you guys have any kind of parting words for the audience, or any advice maybe for people who are watching? Let's start with JR.
Yeah, overall this was super fun. I'm really interested to see all the stories we voted for. The ones that make it through um the runner-up process. Um, you know, for me, concept's important. If you can show a strong concept, I think that will get you far with a lot of the people working with us. Fred, especially, I know likes strong concepts. So I would work on um, concising it down, blank meets blank, and then delivering something really interesting with it. Overall, this was super cool, though.
Awesome. Thank you. What about you, Pop?
Yep. I would say, yeah, for those who have watched this, for anyone watching this, I think really this is such a great opportunity to hear people talk about your work. And I think that that's really, really important. And for those who didn't make it, watch this again and see like what people are saying, and take that, internalize that criticism, and think about how you can improve what you're making. And also even the ones that made it through. Just because you made it through doesn't mean it's gonna be easy from now on. You still got a lot of work to do. So you gotta make sure to get on top of that. So just reminding y'all.
Yeah. Yeah. Thank you for the reminder. What about you, Blake?
I would say congrats to everybody. Like, whether you made it, whether you just accomplished writing this down, thinking of it, like all these steps are hard, and we give you this feedback just to make you better. Like, we're not being jerks. Like, we honestly care about the state of manga. We care about what you guys make, and we care about the magazine. So we just want you guys to do great. And hey, if you don't make it this time, like, there's other times we'll have other opportunities, and yeah, just keep going at it. That's all I would say.
Awesome. What about you, Michael?
Yeah, thank you to everyone that submitted applications. Like Blake said, it's not easy to put yourself out there. And don't let this be the end. Take all of our advice with a grain of salt, and keep creating. A lot of us, I feel like, in the company have been rejected before. I know I got roasted on one of these shows before during one of the years. So like, keep reapplying, keep building up your portfolio, keep practicing comic projects, and like make it sequential art, and just keep creating.
Yep. That's a great way to end it. I appreciate again you guys being here, just taking the time out to review these very talented artists. And thank you guys for watching. This has been an awesome Summer of Manga event. This is, in fact, the last episode that we will be doing. So, for all of the artists that we selected, we'll be contacting you. For those who did not get selected, we're going to be putting you in that fan vote survey. But thanks again for watching, you guys. If you can order our graphic novels, they're coming out very soon. Next month is going to be a big one for Saturday AM. So I know Pop's got his graphic novel coming out, Oblivion Rouge, and we have more.
Right now, yo.
Yep. Look at that. Look at that. Greatest of all time. Greatest of all time. And we're going to be announcing more graphic novels coming out in the coming years. I'm sure J.R. DeBard with Underground will be coming out sometime with his own graphic novel, and Blake Showers possibly. But we got some good stuff coming on the way for you guys. Make sure to pre-order those graphic novels and get those exclusive trading cards. But with all of that said, I hope you guys have a great rest of your day. We will be back with more episodes for our roundtable show. They will be covering different topics. I believe the next ones we're going to be coming out with is Chainsaw Man and Spy X Family, and we're even going to do a little Jeopardy game. So stay tuned for that. Subscribe to the Saturday AM channel, and we'll see you guys soon. Bye, guys.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.